Hi, my name's Sara Haigh and I'm a professor in the School of Materials at Manchester and also director of the BP International Centre for Advanced Materials, or bp-ICAM. I'm speaking today as a contributor to the University of Manchester COVID Catalyst series, and I started as director of bp-ICAM on the 1st of July this year, so in the middle of the UK lockdown and at a really exciting time for BP. And so I'm going to reflect on both of these aspects in the next few minutes. Just to give you some background, the bp-ICAM is a $100 million investment by BP into an academic industrial partnership between BP and 4 universities, including Manchester. The centre's focused on fundamental and applied research, with the goal being to meet current and future materials challenges within BP and the wider energy industry. We have over 200 active researchers, and I think that everybody has been affected by the move to working from home in some way or another. While this may have been welcomed by those who have no longer got to do a lengthy commute, it has been really difficult on those who found themselves isolated or with additional caring responsibility, perhaps due to COVID-induced school closures or the loss of family and paid support. The bp-ICAM hub is based in Manchester, and when the university closed in March, the hub staff moved to the weekly Zoom check-ins, regular scheduled and drop-in meetings, team project updates with BP, all the online stuff we are used to as the new normal. Now, has the advantage that we're able to offer more flexible working patterns, and also I understand that the quality of coffee has improved. Now, to support our researchers, we have tried to be as flexible as possible with the funding, and where we've been able to be aware that individuals have been disproportionately affected, we've looked to see what we can do. So for example, in one project that I'm involved in, 2 students both lost their family childcare arrangements due to lockdown restrictions. And in their case, we were able to move money that we would have spent on conferences this summer in order to support them with childcare costs in order to get them back into the labs when we reopened. Now, the lockdown has also changed the way that we communicate our research, and this year's bp-ICAM annual conference is going to be online. This is the first time we've done this, but despite some downsides, I think that there are clear advantages. People don't have to travel halfway around the world, and they can still hear about the latest discoveries, and it will hopefully therefore be a more accessible platform. We'll be able to reach more researchers that are interested. We've also seen an increased attendance at our webinar series. Most of these previous webinars are available on YouTube, so please do have a look. There's some really exciting presentations from bp-ICAM universities, as well as more widely from academics around the UK and the world. Now, so it's important to mention that the pandemic has strongly affected worldwide energy demand, and that together with the global evidence of climate change is really focusing the world's interest on transitioning to a more sustainable energy model. And BP absolutely wants to be part of that change. So this year, BP's new CEO, Bernard Looney, announced a move to change from the company's last 111 years as an international oil company to be a new future as an integrated energy company. And as part of this, BP is committed to an ambition of being a net zero company by 2050 or sooner, and therefore to help the world get to net zero. That is a huge commitment from what has traditionally been an oil company. They've gone beyond this and have announced some more big changes that they are planning even sooner by 2030. These include a 10-fold increase in investment in low carbon technologies to around $5 billion per year. That's a huge amount of money being invested in improving the technology that we have to get towards net zero. They've also offered a 20-fold increase in developing net renewable generation capacity up to 50 gigawatts. And they've committed to a near 10-fold increase in EV charging points to over 70,000 points. Finally, I wanted to mention that they're looking at a 40% reduction in oil and gas production. So focusing on becoming more resilient and higher value, but that is again a huge change for BP. These enormous changes, as Bernard Looney said at the conference this week, It's going to transform BP into a very different company. Now, this can't happen overnight given the size and scale of BP, but the company are committed to making it happen fast because they recognise that the world needs change. And importantly, BP really wants to be part of that change. Now, I am really excited to be working with BP as it makes this change. I'm a material scientist, and so you might consider me biased, but I think it is absolutely clear that material science and engineering innovation is completely essential if we're going to be able to change the world's energy ecosystem. And towards this aim, bp-ICAM has developed a new low energy research theme, started back in 2019. And this is focused on the fundamental material science and material technologies that we need to support our transition to a carbon neutral economy. In June this year, we put out a call for low carbon based projects on the topics of fast charging, hydrogen, and carbon dioxide conversion. We received an amazing response with 50 ideas submitted, many from researchers who had never interacted with BP before. Now, some of these have been shortlisted and we expect to see 6 to 8 new projects funded by the end of 2020. Now, the topic areas for this low carbon call were in areas where we see key materials challenges. So the first I wanted to mention is fast charging. Now, this is one of the key problems that faces widespread adoption of electric vehicles, which we know are part of our low carbon future. Electric cars now have the battery life close to matching the range of petrol cars, but it's much quicker to fill up your petrol car. Even with Tesla's supercharging points, it takes half an hour to add 200 miles to your battery. And therefore, bringing this time down will make electric vehicles much more attractive and provides incentive for individuals and businesses to switch to electric, greener technologies. We also recognise, however, that battery technology is just not going to work for every purpose. An example would be aeroplanes, where it's really challenging to use batteries, and we need a physical fuel. Now, I've been fortunate to be working on a BP project where we're looking at reactions which, although traditionally used in oil processing, are now a key part of a pilot plant in Nevada, which is converting household rubbish or municipal solid waste into jet engine fuel of the highest quality. And this fuel represents an 80% reduction in carbon emissions compared to what we'd expect with conventional fuel. The other approach is to move to a hydrogen-fueled economy. So hydrogen is a clean burning fuel and has the potential to replace natural gas, and therefore could be used in areas where you can't use batteries. But a lot of the hydrogen that is currently produced is made from fossil fuels. So we need to look at ways of producing it cleanly and then storing it safely. And the final focus area of our recent call for funding areas was in carbon dioxide conversion. And since carbon dioxide is likely to continue to be a problem, unfortunately, for the foreseeable future, then we want to be looking for ways to mitigate its effects and convert it back to a reusable fuel or useful chemical. Now, having seen the initial responses, I am absolutely confident that bp-ICAM researchers are going to deliver amazing things in all 3 areas that we've mentioned in low carbon. I'm really looking forward to working with them and with BP to deliver the material solutions that we need for a sustainable future and to deliver reduced carbon emissions that we need to meet society's net zero ambitions.